Hey, oozes and bunnies. This is a preview of the most recent Party Planning, an extra podcast that the Join the Party crew makes for our Patreon. If you want to listen to the whole thing, go to patreon.com/jointhepartypod. Check out this preview. Folks, I listened to the entire bloopers, and we're really funny, so I think that we can just say whatever we want at any time.
I'm all for it. I've been
Bloopity
saying...
blop beep bop.
Okay. I've been saying first thought, best thought since Dr. Bertha Bones inhabited my bones, and people keep giving me positive feedback, therefore it's good, and I'm going to keep doing it.
Oh, Amanda, is that why you're just a bag of skin and meat now?
That's exactly right.
Dr. Bertha took all your bones.
That's exactly right.
I was going to say we're all just bags of skin and meat, Brandon. But...
Julie, that's spirits. We don't get quite that close to mortality on Join the Party.
Yeah. Is that why I cracked open this beer and you said no, restart?
That's a great idea.
The whole time I was thinking about how I'm in a throuple with my wife's bones and my wife's skin. Folks, listen, we are recording this after we have recorded all of Join the Party Campaign 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dungeons and Dragons no longer being a part of our lives at this moment, because we're about to play a bunch of other games that are not Dungeons and Dragons. Don't read too much into that, everyone who's listening to this. I'm trying to be more detailed and exact about that. But I think I feel a little bit more free. We've been playing a lot of games where like form is following function. I find that every other game that isn't like trying to be as sprawling as a D20 style system, whether it is Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder or very ones like that, we're using this game to tell this specific story, and I've very much been enjoying that, especially after everyone has been saying on the news that Model Our Nations is a hit. I have been really enjoying just writing stuff and getting inspired by a bunch of other games we've been playing.
Yeah, Eric, there's a little Victorian boy that stands outside of my house every morning and yells, "News here, news here! Model Our Nations is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Read more at 5.
Julia, that's a ghost.
Oh, yeah, that kind of makes sense now that you say that.
Wait, hold on, Julia. At the bottom, do they say click through for more?
No, because it's a little boy.
Eric, do people know this? That's the original above the folds, where the newspaper folds in half when you're giving it to somebody. The things that are above the folds are the most important. And you can't unfold the newspaper and read it in front of the newsie without him kicking you in the balls and taking your nickel.
Yeah.
That's above the fold. That's the jump cut.
That's what that boy does to Jake every morning when he leaves.
Kicks him in the nuts. And Jake says, "This is my house." And the kid says, "I don't care, mister."
Well, if he's Victorian, he's discriminating against this ethnic white. That's
You're right.
I love the idea of like older eras just being discriminatory towards other eras.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Like at the same time.
No,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're really worried about, wormholes, is the amount of era-on-era crime there's going to be. But yeah, I've been really interested in a bunch of games that's been going out. There's been a lot of like just lots of drama happening on the tabletop RPG Blue Sky social media lately. I think it's to distract from
You're
what's
telling me
happening.
there's drama on social media?
The thing that's different is that it's happening on Blue Sky, and it feels really like now that Blue Sky shares links, both were kicked off by articles written on websites, which is a real like 20.
You're telling me they put articles on websites now?
But like you can link out so people actually listen and read it. You know what I mean? Like it's not inside the ecosystem. It's part of like the old school version of that. So I've just been like very excited about like independent. I shouldn't call them independent, but like non-Dungeons and Dragons tabletop RPGs lately. And I've been kicking around this idea. I was watching. Did you guys I might be the one who consumes the most amount of streamers here, but like, did you remember when like video game people were really obsessed with the password game?
No.
Did anyone else think about Vor for a second when Eric
Nope.
said that?
Nope.
Okay, cool.
Nope.
Cool.
Respectfully, no.
Brandon, we're not watching Griffin's Vor Corner again.
You said you consume streamers, my dude. I don't know.
Okay, fair. No, Brandon, no, you're right.
Well,
Here, have the
yeah.
joking. That's right. Here it is. Have it.
Thank you.
We're just still doing jokins in 2025. Don't worry, we're still doing jokins.
Okay, now what was your actual question?
The guy, there's this game called The Password Game, and then there's this guy, and I'm going to put the link to the episode description. I had it on my other computer, but not on the computer we're recording on. He's like making small little video games, and he made this one called The Password Game, where it's like you're supposed to, you know how you're supposed to like make sure your password has this many characters and stuff. He made a whole game revolving around that like spooling outward.
That's fun.
Extremely.
Okay.
And he seems like a really good video game creator, and he made one that was like clicker simulator that like introduced a bunch of things from like a bunch of things from the internet, and like in like a cookie clicker style game. And I've been noticing in video games how podcasts have kind of reached critical mass that you can use them as reference points that so many people know from independent games. And so there was a thing where you could get like a true crime podcast in this game, and then there was another game that was out there, like a Getting Over It style rage game that makes it where they had like an unlockable where you listened to like an empowering work podcast while you were doing it.
All of the Spider-Man video games have some form of a podcast that plays while you're swinging through the city.
Incredible.
Yeah, and not just like as an exposition device, as like some like a fun thing that's enough of a joke, and I think that's enough to like make a tabletop RPG. And I was struck with this idea of, should I write a tabletop RPG podcast about a true crime podcast?
Yes.
And I finally cracked the game loop, and I wanted to show you what I have so far.
Okay.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hell
It's
yeah,
a tabletop role podcasting game.
Yes, it is, Brandon.
Oh.
Absolutely. It's been inspired by a bunch of tabletop RPGs we've been playing lately. This is going to come out in a little bit. You'll know what we're talking about there. So I wanted to like just kind of talk out my creative process of doing this, and
Hell yeah.
also like get some stuff to bounce off of all of you to see where we're going. And then just, I don't know what to do with this. Eventually I'll be like, I'll ask Bren to help me format it, and then I'll sell it for $5. Like, we'll see
I
where
have
it
an
goes.
idea of what to do with it.
Give it to the old Victorian boy outside your house.
I was going to
You can sell it
reference.
for a nickel.
I was going to reference a character that people haven't met yet.
Ooh. But no, I love this. It's show and tell game designers edition.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so
Before we get started, what is your tolerance of me shouting ideas at you?
I want them, but
No
wait
criticism,
for me to ask.
just ideas.
Oh, sure. That's fine. I definitely want you all to talk, because this is party planning, and I want to talk and
Just
do
talk
stuff.
at us, Eric, and we'll nod silently.
Yeah, please. I was thinking when it was hard for us to schedule this, and we're doing it ahead of time. Just the other reason we're doing this so far ahead, we're recording this like 8 days before this comes out. Because I'm so excited about it, and I was like, I want to keep all of it in my head and do it in front of them. But I got too excited yesterday, so I wrote all this down, and I have to show you now before I keep working on it, or this whole premise of this party planning won't make any sense.
Okay.
Okay.
There's a shelf life.
Like I've really been enjoying the bloopers coming out, but I felt like because podcasting is so much in the bank, and we're so far ahead of our recording schedule because of the holidays, and then the end of campaign 3, and then what we're doing going forward, that like I feel very disjointed from the temporality of our podcast right now. So I'm like, we have to do this now. I know this is coming out in 8 days, but that's like, I need to talk to someone I needed to go live to tape in some amount, right?
Gotcha.
What if we just recorded the entire next campaign before we release it, and then it was just like all the way out, and then you didn't have to work for a year and a half or whatever, Eric?
I think I'd like it a lot less, and I think it would be difficult and weird, as I answer your question legitimately, to do after parties and to like check in with people. Like I love, and at this point, it is so ingrained in us that join the parties at any given point, like 2 months ahead or so, and so we finish an arc without people's like theories or opinions getting to us, affirmatively.
I think it's because of the after parties, because we're not doing an after party until the end of the campaign, so I've been feeling weird.
Yes.
Yes. But also,
Store it
like,
up.
there's this idea, too, that even when we're, like, not too far ahead and a new episode comes out and someone says, it was so funny when blank did blank. And I'm like, I don't remember that. I don't remember a single moment that you're referencing
I was
right
about
now.
to say, if we recorded our entire campaign ahead of time, they'd be like, I love Julia's character. And
And I'm
Julia's
like, who?
I don't know what that is.
What did I play? I don't know.
I was walking around today and was trying to remember what Cammie's name was because I was like, I'm in a bad spot in my cycle right now. I am in constant migraines, and so my brain is moving a little slower than it typically does. So I was like, what's her name? Cammie, got it, Cammie.
Cammie.
That's totally fine. That's also why I wanted to like make something.
Yeah.
I was like, we gotta make some stuff.
Yeah.
that goes here instead of just like waiting for Brandon to sift through 50 hours of tape.
Guys, we have so many bloopers.
Yeah.
I listened to stuff that I knew would make bloopers, and I'm like, I'm glad Brandon finally did it.
You've been doing it. I'm glad
Yeah.
people can hear it. And also
Yeah.
there are so many good bits, and I'm like, I'm so funny.
Oh, there was a bit in the episode I'm editing now that
Currently.
that will be the episode that came out the Tuesday before this episode that you're listening to now.
So
Sorry,
you
yeah.
already have listened to the episode.
You've already listened to.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite moments where I talked over one of Amanda's good jokes, and it was like, I forget the setup, but the punchline was like, "That's what I learned from Lincoln's cabinet."
Oh, yeah?
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
True. Oh yeah, a cabinet of rivals. Yeah, no, that
Yes,
makes sense. I can
sure.
reverse engineer this joke.
I don't know if that was it, Eric.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Incredible.
Who knows?
Well, I look forward to hearing it in the bloopers in a month or so.
Oh, it's not in the bloopers. This is the episode, baby.
Oh, good.
Yeah, hell
Oh,
yeah.
good. Oh, good.
And the other thing is, like, we've been doing the after party the entire time we've been doing the podcast.
Yeah.
So this might be the longest since we've done like a contemporaneous episode on the main feed, which is why I wanted to make something
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
You're
All right, let's do it, Eric. Show us the game.
Okay,
do it.
So I'm going to walk through it. For those of you doing audio only, I'm going to walk through it, but also video, you can see the actual document that I wrote stuff in. So hop up to the video feed, folks. I'm also really hot.
Eric is just showing us a drawing of a really cool shark right now.
cool. Like it. It says time just over it. Oh, here we go.
Ah,
There you
fancy.
go. Okay, so right now it's called True Crime Podcast Game. This is what I have so far. There's more here, but I'm trying to do it in pieces right now. That was great. My favorite part was the accent work. If you like that, you got to hear the rest of party planning by joining the Patreon at patreon.com/jointhepartypod.